see if you can actually hear this, if you can pick it up. So that humming is actually the nest in panic mode. There's one of the queens. You can see how much larger she is right there compared to the rest of them. Much larger. You know, 2 to 3 times larger. So many that were tending to the nest have all dropped to the bottom, but as you can see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So and then the top one. So there's 6 layers in the pancake there. So a nest like this is probably already in 400 or 500 size range. I mean, this is massive. So, you know, it's in between these 2 floor joists. Alright, so we have a yellow jacket nest here along the foundation edge going up underneath the siding. My wife dusted it last week. She thought maybe she got it, but I think they're over the block. I already saw them inside, so we'll access it through the crawl space. And so I just think maybe they're a little further away from the edge here, and so we'll just have to go inside and get direct with them. In the crawl space here, the crawl space door is directly above me. I've closed it because I am going to be crawling around the corner over to there. I'll show you where that yellow jacket. I went ahead and put my respirator on, put my bee suit on, making sure I'm good to go here. Oh, I got a hole right there. I'll shore that up. All right, so I'm getting a little closer. It's actually right there, but I've already got one on my bulb duster. A bunch of dead ones here. There's actually a bunch of dead ones throughout here on the plastic. I will show you where it is. Right there. So what I believe is, I think we probably dusted close to it. I think we were dusting close to it, but we couldn't directly get to it. So I'll have to just get up close and personal with it and take care of it. So I will extract it, break it open, put it in a trash bag, and take it with me. As I'm looking around here, there are a bunch of dead ones. So I know her nest was working. This is an old nest that we killed a couple of years ago. It's right there, but there are many dead and or dying yellow jackets. So I know the dust is working, but it's just not working fast enough. So we'll fully eliminate that nest so we know it's taken care of. This is one of these situations where you want to make sure everything's zipped up, because I mean, we've got them crawling everywhere. You know, there's piles and piles of them everywhere. So I do think the dust that my wife did is working, but just not fast enough. So we're going to set this up here and I'm literally sweeping dozens and dozens of these away here so I can get to them. Any of these guys are not going to be happy. So again, I got to make sure everything is zipped up here, because being in a crawl space like this is going to be rough if something goes sideways. So I've got my respirator on. All right. So I've got my wasp free just in case, bulb duster. So I'm going to inject this duster here in multiple areas around this nest to try and get as much dust as I can to the nest. I don't necessarily want to just break it open right now. So far, you can see all of these dead ones down here. So you can see a lot of the frass where they've actually chewed away at this insulation, the sprayed-in insulation. That's what all that frass is right there. They chewed in here to make that nest, to get that there. And, I mean, so from perspective, I mean, that's a pretty big nest. That's a pretty large nest. We'll just take our time. Again, we're in a crawl space. I don't really want to make too many mistakes. So I'm starting to hear the hive definitely has been triggered. The alert's definitely going now. See if you can actually hear this, if you can pick it up. So that humming is actually the nest in panic mode. Almost sounds like a heavy rainfall on your roof. I mean, that is hundreds and hundreds of yellow jackets in panic mode right now. Hundreds. And that's a pretty intimidating sound if you're not used to it or don't have the proper equipment. There we go, now they're starting to drop out. I could use a vacuum. I didn't have a vacuum with me. I was out and about, but you could definitely break this up and vacuum this as well. But the homeowner had said that she had seen some upstairs, so I don't necessarily want to crack this open and just make pure chaos and have 200 flying around here, because I don't want any flying upstairs, or at least the least amount possible. Yeah, they're starting to dump out now. So now what's going to happen is they're evacuating that nest. going to keep dropping out here and dying. That's what they're doing. Again, we'll just take our time. No rush. No rush. Kind of crawling all over me, but that's okay. They're all just as they're dying here. There's one of the queens. You can see how much larger she is right there compared to the rest of them. Much larger. You know, 2 to 3 times larger than the rest of them. So that's what you want to see. You want to see these queens dumping out. There's this one right here. There. You can see how much larger she is. So that's one of them. A nest this size will have multiple queens for sure. That fanning and wings and panicking has settled down now. I suspect most have evacuated the nest and or have died in the nest. But we've probably had 100 or so come out as well. We'll open this up now and see what we've done. This has definitely been layered on. So I'll tear this apart here, and then I will throw it all in my handy dandy Kroger bag. So clean up as much as we can here. There we go. Peel back what I can here so you can get kind of a good view of really what's all involved here in something like this. It's really, you know, an amazing feat of nature. Bring you up here so you can see this. So many that were tending to the nest have all dropped to the bottom, but as you can see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's, and then the top one. So there's 6 layers in the pancake there. So a nest like this is probably already in 400 or 500 size range. I mean, this is massive. So, you know, it's in between these 2 floor joists here. And those are going to be, these are old, so it's not 16. I think those might be every probably 22. But yeah, so to give you a scope of the size, I mean, these are dinner plate size levels that they have in here, so just massive. Sit you back down. And again, I'm just trying to dust this. I am trying to be as humane as possible. I'm trying to kill as many of these as quickly as possible, while all doing it as safely as possible, because again, I don't want to just rip this sucker open and just spray them with an aerosol. It'll work, but then you now have hundreds and hundreds that are going to fly around. It can potentially make it upstairs, can potentially make it outside. And so by doing the dust here and hitting them from the inside like this, we really do it about as efficiently as possible, about as swiftly as possible. And so just trying to eliminate, you know, possibly any collateral issues. So a couple more flying around, but I think we got her. So get up here, and I'm trying not to pull my bee suit tight because that's how they can get you actually. And actually, the only time I've ever been stung actually was in a crawl space, because I had my bee suit pulled tight and they actually got me through the fabric. But again, well, I mean, you can have a really good look at that, all those levels. So once they encase it like this too, your random aerosol is not going to work on this because it's encased. And this being wood fiber, wood or mashed up wood pulp, this is waterproof. You can spray this sucker with a garden hose and the water will run off of it, but you can saturate it, break it apart that way. But yeah, most people obviously can't get close enough to it. So let's take one more final look here. Ugh. At all these different levels. So pretty cool. As you can see, everything that's in these individual levels here. And that is quite the Yellow Jacket factory that will just keep turning them out. Finish getting this removed. We'll be good to go. Gigantic. Now these are 14, 16 inches in diameter. Now, this is a giant nest, big nest. So, and this thing will continue to grow into September. So, having a nest this large already is obviously troublesome. So, yeah. So, I think their entrance hole is actually right here. So that brick along the outside, they were coming in. Sorry, I got one buzzing around me. That entrance hole is right here. So that would explain why the dust did some damage, but not all of it, because this was the outside of the nest already right here. So no dust was being dispersed inside the nest. So I will dust this. There we go. Get these good and dusted. Alrighty. Just the remaining few. We wore our respirator. Didn't use any Lost Freeze. And they're flying around my ears. I'll turn my light off. And that is a word to the wise. They go to your light. So I will bag this up. I can feel them behind me. Away from me. So, Kroger bag full. Big nest. That's all.